Good day, everyone. So for today's video, I am going to discuss the curriculum and the development. So let's start. What is curriculum development? Based on what I have learned, curriculum development is a process that systematically organizes what will be instructed, who will be instructed, and how it will be instructed. Each component influences and interact with the other component. For example, what will be instructed and influenced by who is being instructed. They are arranged for development of age maturity and instruction strategies of how content is instructed are influenced by who is being instructed, their characteristic, and the settings. Four phases of development. First is planning. The planning is a base lays and established for all of the curriculum development steps. The first step in this phase is identify issues, problems, and needs. The needs of curriculum development usually develop from a concern around the major issue or problem. The second step is forming a curriculum development team. This step is done after the nature and scope of this issue is addressed, then that's the time when the curriculum team can be selected. The objective is to obtain expertise for the areas included within the scope of the curriculum content among the group member and create a compiling team. Lastly, the step needed is to conduct needed assessment and analysis. The first phase in this step is the need assessment. This is the first procedure where several strategies are focused on learning. It is about what is needed and whom relative to the organization. Strategies covered in stage incorporate knowledge, attitude, and practice survey. The second phase is the step in the analysis. This illustrated strategies or methods on how to utilize the data and outcomes of the information gained. It identified the gap or space between knowledge and practice trends developing from the information, a process to prioritize need and recognize of the characteristic of the student. Phase 2 is the design. The designing phase determines the expectation result what learners will be able to do after participation in curriculum exercise. The content will be instructed and the strategies how it will be instructed. The step incorporated in this phase state intended outcome, selecting this content and designing the experiential method. A curriculum must undergo testing and revision after it's produced. The testing must also be evaluated to determine if it needs to undergo a revision. The next thing to do is recruiting and training the facilitator to the curriculum. It is highly suggested to have a training program so that the development curriculum materials will not be able to waste or pointless. Afterward, the complementation of the curriculum will happen and it will be phase 4 is evaluating. The evaluation phase is the curriculum covers the designing of the evaluation strategies, reporting, and securing resources. The two types of evaluation are formative, summative evaluation. The formative evaluation are utilized in the needs assessment, product advancement, and testing step. Summative evaluation are embraced to measure and report the result of the curriculum. This step review assessment procedures and propose basic methods to deliver substantial and reliable data. An arrangement of a question pose and direct the summative evaluation process and the sample evaluation format is recommended. Reporting and securing resources in final step, the reporting must indicate and show the effectiveness to the object for them to support the curriculum enhancement. Thus, they can provide help securing the resources to be justifiable and accountable. The evaluation and reporting strategies are centered on providing evidence to support the effectiveness of the development curriculum. Fundamental of curriculum design. First, first is the behavioral objectives or intended learning outcomes. Second is the content or subject matter. Third is references. Fourth is teaching, assessment, and evaluation. Self-assessment. It requires students to reflect on their works and judge how well they have performed in the connection to the evaluation criteria. The center is not essentially on having students create their grades, but rather giving opportunities for them to be able to distinguish what is continuous and great piece of work. Peer assessment. It includes students taking obligation for evaluating the work of their peer against set evaluation criteria. Teacher assessment is it is utilized to determine the current level of student accomplishment and accordingly to decide suitable instructing procedure and objectives for the student. The assessment and evaluation are very important in the learning process. It is used to determine if the written objective is the curriculum is met at the end of the instruction. The self-assessment, peer assessment, and the teacher assessment have their own identified purpose. To use this assessment are used and evaluate the standing of themselves and others. It is also significant to use to easily monitor each other's success. Kind of assessment. Formative assessment. The objectives of formative assessment is to screen student learning and give continuous feedback to staff and students. It is an assessment for learning. It plans suitably. It assesses students to, to distinguish their qualities and shortcomings. It can empower students to progress their self-regulatory aptitudes. Summative assessment. The objectives of summative assessment is to assess student learning after an instructional unit by comparing it against a benchmark. Summative assessment frequently have high stake and are treated by the student as they need over developmental assessment. However, criticism from summative assessment can be utilized formatively by both student and faculty to direct their innovators and exercise in ensuring courses. Conclusion. In conclusion, change is inevitable and it happens at the curriculum. The curriculum needs to be enhanced so that it can help the learners to learn more effectively. Curriculum development is a continuous process to assess the learner to be able to acquire the goals and objectives of teaching. Also, the four P's of the curriculum must be considered and strictly followed to achieve effective curriculum development. It needs to be planned, designed, implemented, and evaluation. Besides, there are fundamental of curriculum designing that needs to be addressed. These are behavioral objectives or intended learning outcomes, content or subject matter, references, and teaching methods at the end of every instruction. The assessment and evaluation must be done to determine if their objectives is achieved.